appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Ed, Mike Horn. Listen, I'm looking for pontoon boat.
That's a pontoon barge. That's my deck barge, baby. I wish I could get it to you. You would love it.
Awesome. I mean, I don't think that the neighbors would appreciate my putting that in the small river in the woods behind my house, but that'd be interesting.
Well, I have an HOA, so my neighbors didn't appreciate it either. Listen, I literally bought a pontoon, stripped it down, decked it off because we had deck furniture left over for our patio we used to have, and we didn't have one at the new lake house, so we turned my dock into a patio, and they didn't like it, so I had to put a motor on it, and then it became the Tom Sawyer stand behind, steer with my hand motor.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, I'm telling you.
I'm sure it looks way better with the motor on it, an outboard motor.
Yeah, really, it looks way better. But it is quite the Planet Corn, quite the Planet Corn experience here. So anyway, no, this is just how this was starting out as my white cat jumps up on my face and rubs through my face every morning here on my desk while I'm standing here talking and hair is flying everywhere. I value the damn cat. He wakes me up at 4 a.m. every day, gets my day going, and the cat loves me. I don't know why, but it loves me. And the animals and all that other stuff. But I started going down that path with Neil. Not started. I am on that path with Neil and Ed, valuing the day, valuing the opportunities we create for ourselves, the people that we cross. And then it kind of hit me just that what Ed was just talking about, and it's like, wow, it made me think that what do I need to do today to be the Bradley Corn? That's my real name is Bradley Lee. What do I need to do to be the Brad Lee that somebody else valued enough to actually bring up at the start of their day to kick off the day and share with their friends? And it's like, wow, okay. So I think it's valuing not just the day, but valuing the opportunity to be able to find opportunities and create opportunities to impact other people in the world. And I mean, as we're talking about this, I mean, if somebody's really listening and really struggling with life and trying to get through stuff and not sure where the value is, really just coming from an awesome island in Isla Mujeres, Mexico, right across the bay from Cancun. I mean, every day I drove past this little section that oh crud, what do they call little cities? Not villages, they call them like the neighborhoods. They have a name for them on the island, and I forgot what the heck they call them. It starts with a C. My brain's not working. Colony. The little colonies are little neighborhoods in there. There is a section that I drove by every single day, and it is literally like an opening between two pieces of wood that go into a dirt area, and there's just tin shacks everywhere. And I mean, these people are living on this gorgeous island, and they're living in a tin shack. And man, I mean, it just the value of what we're talking about so far today, and what we have available to us, at least to me here in the United States and living at the lake and stuff, it just kind of puts it back into perspective. Like when things are tough, that you really have to wake up and choose to make that day the day that you're going to recognize everything around you and value everything that you do have. So that's kind of where I'll throw that one today and see what that does for anyone else that's in the room.
I love it. Yeah, just sometimes to just look around and appreciate who you are, where you are, and what your blessings are. Because most people count their problems and forget to count their blessings. They forget to count their blessings, but they're busy counting all the negative things that have happened, the bad experiences and everything else, instead of being maybe appreciating the fact that you pulled through, that you learned the lesson that you had to learn. And oftentimes people don't appreciate it because they haven't really learned the lesson. They don't realize that to shift them so that they can maybe better appreciate where they are, who they are, what's coming for them, or what's coming through them, for them, whatever it is. And yeah, every time that
what is passing them by.
What's passing them by, yeah. And to think about what you said, Brad, about all the little colonies and those planetas, and people living in these shacks and these shanty towns and little villages here and there. I've often said it here, and I think you jumped on with me as well. Is I pay a little extra in taxes just to make sure that our sophomores, freshmen or sophomores or juniors, whatever, would be taken to a third world country so that they can see what struggle really is, and at the same time see how those people that are seemingly struggling to put a meal on the table are still happy in many cases, right? And to learn to appreciate what they do have.
It's 15 below. It's 15 below in Kansas City in January. Would you rather be in a tent shack on Isla Mahara?
Yeah. I mean, not that I wouldn't listen. I would not be at a football game in shorts and a Hawaiian shirt with Brad Lee. With Brad Korn, I wouldn't be there, but I'd be watching that game from.
Come on, Tony. You haven't lived until you've done that.
Oh, right? Man, I'll tell you what.
Brad,
it was just an injection on perspective, right? You go into, you fly into some airports and they've got these beautifully enclosed places, and it's because they need to be enclosed. And you fly into Hawaii and they've got like no walls on any building and grass roofs and stuff like that. It's all perspective.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. So think about that. Where would you rather live? And by the way, for what it's worth, if you said, yeah, it's too cold, I wish I could live there. Well, guess what? I think it costs something like $12,000 a year to live in Bali, to live very well in Bali. There's places in the world that you can choose to live that life if you choose to do that. Again, what do you value most? But it's about appreciating. I came up and I started saying that because so many people, especially our young people, don't appreciate, where we are and what we have and what they have and the freedoms that we have and the things that are available to them. And it doesn't matter how much they have, it seems like it's never enough. And I say they, I mean everyone. By the way, that's not just a phenomenon among kids. I know more adults that don't appreciate what they have than teenagers at some point. So it really is about appreciating what you have and where you are. Because, one of the things, and we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, because I made a video about it. And you know how you ask somebody, hey man, how's life? Same shit, different day. Man, I'm sorry. Can I help? Right? Because so many people take for granted. Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that's their kind of their go-to response or a version thereof. Just another day on the grind, and not being able to appreciate where you are. So I took this saying, I'm living the dream, because I heard a guy say that to me all the time, living the dream, living the dream. And God damn it, if that guy isn't living the dream now, because when I first met him, just got into Bitcoin. That was probably 10 years ago. And he is living the dream, because I know for a fact at the time he had a couple thousand Bitcoins, right? So he is living the dream. But it's funny because your words become your reality, right? The words we speak become the house we live in. And that is so freaking true. Are you appreciating where you are? Are you living the dream? Look, I say it all the time now. I'm living the dream. Usually the response is, as mine was, wow, that's awesome. Good for you. Well, keep in mind that not every dream is a good dream. And nightmares are dreams too. But of course, that's not what I mean, because for the most part, I am living the dream, right? I am living the dream. I've got a life that I've been able to create through a lot of heartache and struggle and discipline and sacrifice that I didn't think I could have. Do I have everything that I need? No. Do I have as much money do I have everything that I need? Yes. Do I have as much money as I'd like to have and as much financial security? No, maybe not. Right? Have I been in a better place financially? Yes. But you know what? I'm sitting here in my garden looking around. And while the other day I was bitching, I'm like, man, I still got all these boxes to turn. I still got all this to do. The weeds are coming up and everything else. But I have a garden. You guys hear the chickens in the back. That's not a recording playing in the background, right? So we can all choose, all that to say, it's not about what my life is or anything else, but it's about just having everybody look back and understand that the life that you're living right now is somebody else's dream. Oh, Tony, you don't understand. Okay. There's a story that's shared, and I'm going a little long because we're a little late on stage anyway, but I promise that Brian, Scott, and Sharon will come over to you. By the way, if you want to come on stage, just put your hand up. We're late today, so I have no problem bringing up a few other people if it comes to it. There's a story of two men in a hospital bed, and the guy that's closest to the window can sit up. The guy that can't is laying back in bed, and every morning the guy that's sitting closer to the window, the one in the middle would say, "Hey, what does it look like outside?" He'd be sitting up, he'd look outside. Oh, it's beautiful. This hospital is in a great location. It's right by a park. I see the park. There's a river behind that. Every morning the sun is shining. The kids are running around playing ball in the park and throwing a frisbee around. There's birds singing. Flowers are blooming. And this went on for weeks and weeks, right? And the man in the middle bed, or the inside of the bed that couldn't sit up, would live vicariously through this man's stories, right? And his description of what outside looked like. And one day, this man, so he started getting a little bit better, but at the same time that he was getting better, he woke up and the man sitting close to the window was no longer there. He had passed in the middle of the night. So he asked the nurse, he says, "What happened?" She said, "What happened?" He was very sad. He says, "Listen, can I be moved to that bed? Can I be moved to that bed? Because I want to look outside." So they obliged him. They moved that bed. And when he sat up and he looked outside, all he could see was the wall. He couldn't see anything outside. And he's confused. He turns to the woman and says, "I don't understand. Did you move us from the room? What's going on? Why are we up against the wall?" He says, "What do you mean? We haven't moved you." He says, "But the man that was laying in his bed next to me for so many months, would tell me how he'd look outside and there was a park and, all these beautiful things in life." And I don't know, it's weird. I'm kind of getting emotional through the story. And he said, "Sir, I'm not sure what that was about, because the man in the bed next to you was blind." Whew. Perspective.
Yeah, for sure. Ed Milet's now telling a story about his dad playing golf with him while he's in the hospital, and Ed calls in to check on Dad, and he says, we played Pebble Beach today." Dad says, "How'd you do?" He says, "I shot 5 over." He says, "How'd I do?" He said, "You played like shit."
But again, keep in mind, and I love that, my last.
You got to go there in your mind. That's the point. You got to go there in your mind. You can go there in your mind even if you're staring at a brick wall.
Exactly right. It's like man's search for meaning. As a man thinketh, there's so many different examples of that, and obviously that story is just a way of explaining that again. But again, what are you focused on? What are you appreciating? What are you appreciating? What are you not appreciating? What can you focus on? Because I promise you, you're living.
You don't even want to ask what you're not appreciating and what you don't like and don't want. That's focus goes there. You get more of it.
Well, no, and I say that because the gratitude room, when I go in, I share it. First question is, what are you grateful for? What could you be grateful for? And what should you be grateful for? So sometimes it is important to look around and ask yourself, what am I not grateful for that I maybe should be? And that's why I say that in that way, not in a negative way, but
that's a much better question, but it still could be phrased better, I think.
Perhaps. So that's how it comes to me. Because again, going back, the life you're living is somebody else's dream, because the person that's dying in their hospital bed, the person that is handicapped, the person that can't walk, the person that's lost their sight, lost their hearing, the person that's lost the loved one. All they want is 5 more minutes, right? So what do you value most? Question of the day. Brian, come to you, bud.
Thank you, Tony. So what I value most is I do value family, though to me family is not just blood. So that's one of the things that I value. I also value gratitude and all of the different things and people that I am grateful for. And I value my brain, and part of the reason that I'm saying that is because at home we just upgraded some technologies, and it's and I had a moment because both of my parents are senior citizens, and I had a moment because I'm like worried. I had a moment of like, is my brain going to be able to adapt 40 years from now to however technology evolves? I mean, I'm committed to doing everything that I can to make sure that my brain is pretty good or my health is pretty good for that time. And as we were dealing with certain things here at home yesterday, and when I went out for my walk, I was thinking specifically of you, Tony. We haven't met in person yet, but but you're like a father figure to me in a different way, with how you inspire me, and you don't sugarcoat a lot, but it's not to the point where it's like emotionally against somebody. It's just that the way you are saying it is to say that we want you to grow from it. So I value that kind of motivation to grow. And, I'm a believer that God doesn't give you anything you can't handle, and that no matter what phase you're at in your life, that as long as you are still breathing, that you can get better each day and keep going. So those are the things that I value the most, is the simple things. And yes, money of course is important, and unfortunately things cost more than they should, but at the same time I also believe in the law of attraction too, that if you just complain about it and you don't do anything, you don't network, whatever, that you're not going to get there. So with that, I guess I say I also value community a lot. So that's what I have to say about this topic this morning, and I hope I brought good value for the room.
You did, Brian. I appreciate that. Thank you for your kind words, and I appreciate that because you know what? It's thank you for that. It's nice to hear that because again, we come in here day in, day out. My goal is to help inspire someone that's struggling or that's having a harder time than someone else. And I'm thank you for that. It makes a lot of it worth it. The times, and again, it really is about impact. It's about community. It's about the impact that we make in the lives of others. So to hear that from you was powerful. Thank you for that. And yeah, ultimately, it really about the chosen family. Going back to what you said, it's not just family isn't just blood, and it's not because some people have a great family, other people have what they have, right? They get what they get, and everybody's got a different journey. And sometimes you do have to pick your family. You can't actually, they say you can't choose your family, but you can pick your friends or something like that. I forget what the exact quote is. But you can choose the people that you spend time with, the people that you're listening to and being inspired and motivating you. And it is important to make the right decision because the right decision can cost you a lot, as so many of us know. It can cost you in many different ways and many different things. Most of all, your physical, your emotional, your mental health, and how you're showing up. So thank you for that. I appreciate, as they say on Clubhouse, thank you for the flowers. Speak. And I'm honored to do that. And I know that you come by my way quite often. Just next time you come to the Morris area, just give me a call. If I'm in the area, we'll get together for a cup of coffee for sure, and connect in person, in IRL, in real life. But thank you for that, Brian. Really appreciate that, heartfelt, and it is received. Appreciate you. All right, Scott. Coming to you, buddy.
Good morning, everybody. The question, what do you value most? Well, this has shifted recently for me, and for me, it is money, but I want to elaborate on that because it's what money can do for us as a society in North America, because I'm in Canada, and money can allow me to hire the nurse that I want for my wife to take care of her. Money can allow me to hire people to take care of my lawn, which I don't particularly enjoy doing. Money can allow me to build a community of people in something I'm passionate about, which is volunteer-based organization. Money can allow more time if I learned how to effectively use it. Money can allow me to spend more time with my family, more time with my friends, more networking opportunities. And I was taught a little while ago that you might say you don't care about money, but the bank certainly does. The people that collect your bills certainly do. The people that you're supporting at church or your volunteer or whatever organization you support certainly do. So why not make it the number one priority until we get to a point where maybe we're trading service for service and that the barter system comes back. Because in North America, and money is energy and frequency. So if I know for a fact the money just makes more of who you really are, and I know for a fact that I like to give and donate and live a life of freedom. I can't do that without knowing about money. So with that, I always live in gratitude. I always live in the life that I have now, that I've built over time, and the values and respect. I think I described some of those in the way I was describing money. The values to me treating people with respect at all times as much as possible. Having discussions, whether you're 3 years old or 90 years old, I can learn something. My family is always a number one. I shouldn't say that, but like I would do anything for my family. I have less jobs. I have less money for my family. Don't get me wrong about the money discussion, but it always comes back because I value that. And I value, in particularly, the time with friends, the time with people that are there for me. So with that, live life in gratitude, love yourself, forever love others. I'll pass it back to you, Tony.
Thanks, Scott. I appreciate that. I appreciate your words, and yeah, I mean, what money is an energy, and the more you chase it, sometimes the more it runs, right? And again, it's easier said than done. I mean, not actually. Even that statement's actually not true. It isn't easier said than done. It's just doing what you know and learning and learning from. And because yeah, money's important. It is not everything, is what I'm saying. And of course, the less money you have, the more you feel, the more the intensity is of that emotion, for sure.
And the more intensity of that emotion, Tony, the less attention you're given to something that will actually produce it. So it's it's like a hypnotic trance, right? Stealing time from you, which is actually the real money.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, our most valuable asset is time, and that is money. Going back to the example that we gave, $1 million, but you don't wake up tomorrow, right?
But it's maybe that's an unclear answer. That's an absolute, right? It's like, what's the time horizon? Well, I couldn't spend $10 million in 24 hours and have really enjoyment out of it. But the fact is that if any time that you're spending energy and attention on things that are not going to accomplish the mission, then if it's not improving your time on task to make you more proficient in finding your unique self, or sharing that essence of you so that it can proliferate and energy can reverberate, that just the time focused on, oh geez, I don't have money. That's time you should have been thinking about how to invent a way to have money.
That makes sense. Or 100% effort towards whatever that is, and that could be anything, right? Every single one of us could be a little bit more productive. It doesn't matter how much you're making. Obviously, everybody wants to make a lot of money, but you know what? You don't have to make a lot of money to be productive. You just have to be productive. You have to make a little bit more than what you have to make a little bit more than what you need at times, or it's all perspective, 100% perspective, as to where you are and what things look like.
Thank you for that. Don't get me wrong, you two. Don't get me wrong at all, please.
Don't get us wrong either. We're not saying that you shouldn't value the ability of the money.
No, I get that, Ed. I'm just trying to impress that with money in North American society, I can do more with my time, do more with my friends, do more with my family, do all that. I believe currently for me takes money of some sort. That's all.
Money is the tool. It's not the focus. So we're in complete agreement.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah.
So what if you're stuck working 2 or 3 jobs to make enough money and you have no time to go share anything with anyone? So being on the lookout for that next thing that's a leverageable way to make money is important. And sometimes we get so stuck in that grind that it's like we are literally missing the opportunities. And so it's one of my messages. I also say, if you're in a situation where you don't really like what you're doing, it just sucks, but you're doing it to make it, go to that every single day like it's the best thing that could have happened to you. Because if you go miserable, how many things are going to pass you by? But if you go into this miserable place where other people are miserable and you make it as awesome and as fun as possible, and you show up with a great attitude, somebody will see that. Somebody will have a better life who has to be stuck in that while you're working your way out. And other people may be passing by and notice it and give you the next opportunity. So it's like, valuing the day, how we started the conversation.
100%. Yeah. Love that.
I don't have a mic drop button. I need a mic drop button.
Yeah, I know. That was good. By the way, I changed my profile picture. That's the strawberry I picked this morning for breakfast. As I'm on the phone with you guys here, by the way. But yeah, again,
strawberry envy out here.
What's that?
Strawberry envy out here.
But yeah, it really is about, sometimes we do get stuck in that struggle of, because you're working 2 or 3 jobs. And you know what? Sometimes you've got to go through that so that you can, again, it's all part of the cycle. You have to do that sometimes to appreciate having had to work 2, 3 jobs. Because shit, I remember when I first got started in real estate, I was 18 years old, and I'm 19 and 20, and people are like, oh yeah. And by the way, at that time I had a full-time job and then real estate full-time. So I was working 80, 90, 100 hours a week. And then people like, oh yeah, real estate, working half a day. I'm like, yeah, I work half the day, 12 hours. That's half a day. But but you have to go through positions, and I had to work the 2 jobs because I was already living on my own at 20 years old, and I had to pay the bills and everything else. And you have to do what you've got to do. You've got to go through. At times, you've got to go through the struggle. You got to honor the struggle so you can appreciate, where you are. If life's always been easy and you've gotten everything as it happens, in many cases, people don't appreciate it and they squander it. And that's anyway. That's a whole other conversation for another day. But thank you again, everyone, for that, Scott, and certainly Brad and Ed for coming back in to that. All right, we have Sid join us on stage, and of course we also have Sharon. So Sid, I know you're usually here with us till 8:30. So I'm going to go to Sharon because she's been in here from the beginning, early on, and we'll go to Sharon, then we'll pop back to you, Sid. We'll go to Jordana. Dan joined us as well. So Sharon, good morning. Actually, before I go to Sharon, let me just it's 8:07. It's breakthrough time. Just remind everyone, share this room, bring some more people into the conversation. We've got about an hour left. And again, if you're getting value from this, share this room, because these are the perspectives, these are the mindset shifts that can sometimes shift someone's life and change their perspective on life, and maybe, who knows, save a life, help a life, encourage a life, whatever it is. So thank you for being here. Share this room, ping some people in. Over to you.
Thank you so much. So the answer to this question is there is no right or wrong answer. I'm hearing the chickens in the background. Makes me think, what came first, the chicken or the egg? For me, what I value the most is myself. Because without valuing myself, I cannot give full value to anyone. I cannot accept full value in anything, including time, including money, including everything that exists. Because if I haven't worked on myself, my self-worth, and valued myself, then nothing else really matters that much. The foundations are not there. Thank you.
Yeah, I get that, and you're right. You have to be able to value, honor, and respect yourself 100%. And that's part of the journey as well. Sometimes people don't appreciate even their health until it's gone. They don't appreciate, and that's part of the journey is appreciating yourself and falling in love with yourself. We've often in here spoken about that the longest journey that most people will ever take is only 18 inches from the head to the heart to reconnect back to self. Because before you can you can value yourself most, you've got to fall in love with yourself, be in love with yourself, or fall back in love with yourself, reconnect with yourself. But yeah, absolutely. Because if you don't honor you, you don't value yourself, then you've got a serious problem, right? Because guess what? The world does revolve around you. Well, let me rephrase that. Your world revolves around you. So if you don't give yourself value, if you don't respect yourself, if you don't value yourself, what makes you think somebody else is going to? How can somebody value you if you don't value yourself? So, yeah, very poignant point there, Sharon.